Welcome to our lesson on sine wave. Sine waves are applied in various situations to represent movement of objects. Now here we have a circle. Can represent this one as 1 unit, and then this is positive 1 unit, and then this is negative 1 unit. Here below where this circle, circumference of the circle, the tip at this tip negative 1, and then at this tip we also have positive 1, and this is your circle. Now when we are moving, this is our reference point here, 0. When we move anti-clockwise like that, anti-clockwise is represented by positive, while clockwise, if this is our reference, clockwise movement like that, we represent negative values. So our circumference is here and we are moving anti-clockwise. Now let us take an angle of 30 degrees. An angle of 30 degrees is somewhere. This is our 0 here. So the scale on the x-axis, this is y-axis, we are going to represent angles down here. So here is 0, scale of 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180 like that, 210, 240, 270, 300, 330, 360 like that. So we can approximate an angle of 30 degrees is there somewhere there like that. So we put it, we draw it there like that. This is our angle of 30 degrees. So 0 degrees is at this point. So 30 degrees here. We move this point from there like that, and then they coincide here with 30 degrees. We mark a point there. So we move on to 60 degrees, an angle of 60 degrees. It is somewhere there. So we pull our line, draw a line from that point to this point here. So this is an angle of 60 degrees. And then we go across where they coincide. This is 60. They are coinciding at this point. I mark that point there like that. And lastly, an angle of 90 degrees here. Angle of 90 degrees here. They are meeting at this point. Remember, we are rotating anti-clockwise like that. 0 degrees is here. 30 degrees is there. 60 degrees is there. And 90 degrees is up here, represented by that position. But now 120 degrees, probably somewhere there like that, it goes down a little bit. So 120 degrees goes down a little bit. We mark our point there. And then 150, approximating it somewhere there like that, it still goes down. So you move across like that. 150 is somewhere there. And then 180 now, because we are moving anti-clockwise, 180 there. It is 0 here. So 180 is at that point. Now 210 is approximately somewhere there like that. So we go across 210, cross somewhere there. 210, 240 is somewhere there. So we approximate 240, 240 approximately there like that. And lastly 270 coincides with that. 270 is somewhere there. 270. 300 is somewhere there, like that. Goes up a little bit. So 270, 300, 300, somewhere there. 330, 330 is somewhere there. So we go across 330 like that. Lastly, 360 there. We come across up there. So we have already represented our angles here and the signs of the respective angles. And then we use a smooth curve like that to join these points so that we can have a clear picture of how the wave is moving like that, then down here like that, and then up there like that. And we label it as y is equals to 1 sine theta. That. Now we have already represented our sine wave like that. So the sine wave starts from 0, goes to the peak 90 degrees. You can see from here, this is our peak 90, which is 1. Then from 90 to 180, it drops down to 180 degrees, where our sine 180 is 0. And then from 180 to 270, the sine drops further to -1, maximum at 270. And then from 270 to 360, it climbs up. And so the sine wave, when you look at it carefully, from 0 to 180 degrees, the sine is positive. So all angles from 0 to 180 degrees, the sine is positive because they are on the upper part of our drawing. Now, from 180 degrees all the way to 360 degrees, our sine is negative, represented by these sides, this part of our drawing. And so, from 0 degrees to 180 degrees, the sine is positive. And then from 180 degrees to 360 degrees, the sine is negative. You can confirm that from our calculator or a mathematical table by finding the sine of 0 degrees, for instance, 10, 20, 30 through 180. You'll find that the sine is positive. And from 180 degrees to 360 degrees, the sine is negative. You can find out from our drawing. That is how the sine wave is generated. Now, suppose you have been told to find something like 2 sine theta. Now, 2 sine theta, once again, our original sine is multiplied by a factor of 2. So here, if we had 0 to 1, we scale it so that at this point here, we have 2 positive, and down here, we have 2 negative. So 90 degrees was here. Twice that, we land here like that. And then here, twice that, we land here at -2, so that we are going to join them this way, it will pass the middle, down like that, and lastly that. Now the distance from here to here, it's called an amplitude, the height from 0 mean level to +1. So if it is twice, our 1 is multiplied by 2. Likewise, at this point, we multiply -1 by 2, we get -2. So that if we were to draw a graph, we would draw it this way. And then we call this one as y is equals to 2 sine theta. So theta is the angle we are referring to. Could be something like 330. It is here, down here, same, like that. And then that is the end of how to sketch the sine wave. Next, we shall consider sketching the cosine wave.